What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the next video in learning Laravel. My name is QDS Danny and you guys are watching my channel Coriowood. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about forms, how we're going to submit our forms, and then we're going to talk about CSRF token, and CSRF stands for cross-site request forgery. And being a Laravel programmer, you guys need to be aware that there is something called CSRF attack that users create this that users use this attack to pretend that they are the ones who are the owner of the forms, whoever's submitted on the form. So they make a copy of the form and they're going to submit on users behalf. This is a very, very dangerous attack. To combat this, your Laravel is coming with the CSRF token that generates the CSRF cross-site request forgery token, and then sends this token to their database. And once the users try to submit, say for example, a user login or any product purchase form, whatever the user is doing, then Laravel matches the tokens that are stored in the Laravel. So, but this process is very, very automatic. Laravel does everything behind the scenes. When you guys need to be aware that there is something called CSRF from the Laravel side. It's a token. It creates all the hash values for your form. So this is very, very important for your security and your user security and your client security. To begin everything, we're gonna go ahead and you guys go ahead and fire up your Laravel PHP artisan serve. So first thing first, we're going to come here and we're going to create users, for example, forms, because we don't have any forms in our view, but we have a user controller which we created in the previous videos. If you look in here, we have a method here create, and we have a method here store. Okay, so the method create is actually your actual forms, which we're going to see here. For example, it's going to come here. If you, for example, put a users say for example put a create, your form should come here. So it's going somewhere else, so I have to delete this because there is a create, and I have to put it here create. So we don't have anything create because it goes to the fallback page, and it's telling us that this page doesn't exist because this page users create doesn't exist. We don't have a controller. We have a controller for it, but we don't have anything in the blade, or we don't have lace anything. Keep in mind, you can create create.php, or you can create create.blade.php, but because we are learning, Laravel accepts both. Alright, so to create a form we need to get, and to create this route we need post, because from here this guy, as you guys know here, that we want to show it to the user, so we get and this guy here, once this guy here, when we submit the form, it goes to the store, because once if you look in here request, and there is a request here, we have a parameter here. So we're going to come here and says a route get. We put a route and we put a get. So what's we have a users, and we have a create, and what's our controller? We have a users controller, controller, and what's our method? Our method here is going to be create. So we put a create here. So create. Okay, so if you're gonna look in here, and if you put a return, and if you put a view, and we put a users dot create. Okay, now the users dot create, you need to create this one as well. So we're going to come here and say I don't need this. I'm going to put a here the form folder, I'm going to put a users, and my folder is created. Then I'm going to go on the create, so I'm going to go users dot, I'm going to put on here, I'm going to put a create dot blade dot, I'm gonna put a blade dot php. Alright, so now my this guy's here is created, so I'm gonna put a HTML here, ML, and now the HTML is not working, so I'm gonna come in here, and so I'm gonna create the template. So I'm gonna copy this one. If your template works here, by all means you can try that, but because mine one for some reason is not going to create when it comes to blade. So here you guys can put a, for example, h1. So what I'll do is I'll play another trick, and I'll do this again. Maybe this is gonna work. I'm gonna put a h1, and I'm gonna put a, for example, users forms. So I'm gonna save all, and I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna users create, and I'm gonna see this users form. Okay, so the next step here is we're gonna go on the store. So we're gonna come here and says route, and now we have to put a post because we are posting to this one. That's another route verb that we have discussed at the beginning of this video. So we put a store, and here you guys need to put a users controller at we put a store. Okay, so now if we create anything in this method here in this form, is supposed to go here, because now we have a store as well. So now if you're gonna create if you create a form, for example, we're gonna come and create a form. So we put a form, and we can put a form here as well, and in my form we can put action. And what's the action? I'm gonna go on users, and I'm gonna go on store, and method is gonna be, my method is gonna be post. We put an input, and then we put a type equal to text, for example, and then we put a name. For example, we put a username. We want to get the username. For example, we put a placeholder. We put a enter username name, and we close the form. And for example, we're going to copy this one again. We paste here for password. And lastly, we're going to put it here for submit. So put a submit, and here we put a name. It's going to be submit, and placeholder, we just put a submit. We don't have any placeholder. For example, we can just put a submit here, where we can put a button, and here we can input type, for example, password. And here is going to be password, and enter password, for example, enter password. So we're going to come in, check our form, and we're going to see our form here, and we can put a break here. For example, we can put a BR to see the forms on top of each other. BR, and we're gonna check here BR and BR. So now our forms on top of each other. So I'm gonna put it here. For example, instead of this one, I'm gonna put a button. So I'm gonna put a button, I'm gonna put a submit, and this guy is gonna be submit. It's gonna be submit. So now I have a small form here, but if you look in the background, you guys going to see here that I have whatever here, and I have entered a password, and this is going to be submit. But you guys don't see any CSRF token or anything here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a username. For example, it's going to be as Danny, and my password is going to be 12345. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to redirect code there, and if you look in here, it says the page expired. Why the page expired? Why the page? Why if I'm going from this guy here, from this guy here to, for example, if I use a request, if I am going from the get to the post, because I want to post the request. If you look in here, I have a parameter request, because I'm requesting something, and I need to, the server needs to respond. And as soon as I put this one, my page is expiring. Why my page is expired? Because I'm going to user store. I have everything here in the user store. So for example, here you can request, say for example, if we put a return, for example, we can put a, say your form has been submitted, for example. So it should go here, and I should see this message. So I'll go and try again, and I'll go and put the same message here, and I don't even see, because I'm going to store, but I'm not seeing this anything here. Why I'm not seeing? Because Laravel is not gonna do this for me. Laravel needs a CSRF token. Why Laravel see it? Because it's a very, very sensitive information. As soon as you guys are going to put something which this input is going to go into database, Laravel needs to generate this CSRF token, and this CSRF token is going to match. So how do we put a CSRF token? For example, the way you guys can put a CSRF token is in your form. In here, in your form, you need to put a CSRF token. So how do we put a CSRF token? You guys need to put it here at, just like here with your master, you look and put here at CSRF. That's it, CSRF. All you guys need to do, just put a CSRF. So you kind of come and refresh, and I'm gonna put for example, now if we gonna go and see, for example, if I put a behind this, I'm gonna see totally different ones here. It's totally different one. So how I'm gonna see here, because before we didn't see this one, now you guys gonna see here I have an input type, hidden, name, token, and that's a value. This is the CSRF that I was talking about. Now you're pretty much very, very safe, because now you have a hidden, there is a token here which is hidden, and that's a token generate value inside the Laravel. So if I put for example, yes, Dani now in my form, and if I put a 1 2 3 4 5 6, for example, if I must submit, and your form has been submitted. Look at here, that's cool stuff inside the Laravel. So here, if you look in here, we're going to see this message, because it's going to jump from here here from create, that we are showing to the user, to the store, to the, means it's going to be stored inside our database. So if you look in here, now from get, that we have a route verb, and we discussed this for many times in when we begin Laravel, that you have a verb of get, you have a verb of post. So that's now we just going to discuss about the post, because we haven't discussed about the post. Now is the time for us to discuss about the post, because so far we are discussing all the gets, not the post. We have discussed this. If you're not sure about this one, you guys go ahead and check our few of the first videos about the verbs, of route, verb, get and post and any and redirect, whatever you guys go and check. So you're going to see here that there is something called post. Alright, so just let you know, if you're if you have used for example prior Laravel 5.6 before, or say 4 version 3 or 4, you guys used this CSRF field differently. For example, you guys could have seen this. We put a, for example, here we put a PHP, and we put echo CSRF, and we put a field. You've seen this one, but if you are for example are using the Laravel 8 or 9, you guys should not worry about this. So if you put this, for example, and we're gonna go now and check at the back, and we have the same form, so we're gonna go and check, and we're gonna go Control U, and we're gonna exactly the same ones we're gonna see, even though we put this one here now, because the prior Laravel 5.6, we used to, all the Laravel's programmer used to do this way. So if you see in the old Laravel's equal CSRF field, you guys should not be surprised. So even if I go here and refresh this many times, even if I try to submit, it's gonna submit to the store, even though I have removed that one. So I go here, if I go back, I can do Control U, I was gonna see, still gonna see this one. So don't be surprised if you see CSRF field. That's the old versions of the Laravel. They are running, just in case if you guys bump up to CSRF field, and you guys might be thinking, what the heck is this CSRF? But yes, Danny showed us this way, CSRF, because this way you guys can inject the CSRF. So now you guys have a 2 CSRF, and now we're gonna go back. For example, we're gonna refresh, and we're gonna put a yes Danny, for example, and we put a 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then if we do Control U, you're gonna see two tokens here. One is for these guys here, one is for this guys here, CSRF field, and another one is for the injection that we injecting this CSRF token. So now we have 2 here. So keep in mind, you can if you put this one, Laravel is going to accept it, but I would recommend you guys to put this one. So this guy is here, the old Laravel is a helper function. So CSRF field, helper function. So CSRF, as I said before, is cross-site request forgery. Is when one website pretend to be another. So the goal of the hacker is to come and hijack your users' access to your website. So if the users have access, they're going to come and pretend to be your users. Well, they're not your user, they're not your legitimate users. So that's what the CSRF is. Very dangerous. If, say for example, if your website is dealing with e-commerce, if the user is going to come and pretend to be Mr. XYZ while they're not, they can come and steal a lot of money from your websites. So that's very dangerous. If Mr. AB gonna come your websites and purchase something, and Mr. XYZ is gonna come and pretend to be AB, then they're gonna take all the money, and they're gonna take all your product. So that's not very good, good scenario. They can guarantee bring down your reputation in your website. Alright, so there is another one here. So I'm gonna get rid of these two here. There is another one. If you don't want this CSRF inside your website, say for example you don't want this one, you want something else in your website, for example you want delete or you want something else, you can do so. So what I'm going to do, have open this master. So here in here, if I remove this, for example, I have removed the CSRF, and if you look in here, Control U, my CSRF token's gone. So if I don't want, if you want to let the Laravel know that you don't want this post, but you don't want, you want to, for example, delete. You can do so. You just come here and somewhere you just put your method. You can put add, you can put a method delete, for example, method, and you can put a delete. So when you put a method delete, and now we're going to go and check, we're going to refresh, and we go Control U, and it says hidden method and it's delete. It means you don't want to do your for example, you don't want to post, you don't want this one, you want method delete. And it just let you know that the Laravel's got a delete, they've got a put, and they've got a patch. So they have three here. The value can be anything. So you can put a CSRF, you can put it this way. Say for example, you can put a put here. Say for example, put our you can put a, for example, page. The Laravel can offer all, just in case in your future website, Laravel's developer career, you can you don't want to put for example, anything other than the CSRF token, but the CSRF is more popular. And we're going to change this one as CSRF, because you guys, as a beginner Laravel Laravel programmer developer, you guys need to learn this CSRF. So as I said, you can put something else, and if you put a U, you can see your token here. You guys need to put this one CSRF every time. You guys need to put your say for example your form here. You want to submit your form, because this is very important for you guys to put your CSRF. So this is very important. You guys need to put for every time you guys put your form, especially with the post, and this guy here with the post, because this is going to post inside here. This is going to store our post, and this you guys need to you need to put this one CSRF cross-site request forgery token for the Laravel to create a token for you. So now you guys going to see the power of Laravel's, and Laravel is very secure framework, and that's why everyone trusts Laravel with the security. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you guys have any question or comment, leave in comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.